on my runs and daily life recently, I've been thinking a lot about regret. And so I wanted to put this together just to talk about my thoughts on regret, how to navigate feelings of regret. And I do think it's a spectrum where obviously if you make a mistake that hurts someone, embarrasses you, or does something negative, you will feel instant regret. You may live with regret for a long time in your life. That's not necessarily the regret I want to talk about. The regret I mainly want to focus on is the regret of inaction, the regret of not doing your best, the regret of not pursuing an opportunity that you have to leap for, that you have to take a chance for. Where at the end of the day, when you're at the pearly gates and you're looking down at what you could have been, it's just filled with regret of inaction. So, using my own life, I was a Division I football player, and that means I was inherently good in high school. And I don't mean that in a cocky way, that's just a reality of the fact. But being 25 now, having gone through college and not playing in college, going through injuries, dealing with a lot of trials and tribulations as a college athlete, I can be honest and come to terms with my athletic career, but I can also look back and feel a sense of regret. And that may be being hard on myself, but I think it's true. Where in high school, I felt like I worked hard. I felt like I was going above and beyond what my peers were doing to help separate me from my competition. And I feel like that is true. But looking back with a 25-year-old mindset, with and what I mean by that is I'm looking at it differently than when I was 16, 17, 18, where working hard is it has evolved in my mind to where like it's black and white. I could have done so much more, even though I was doing a lot. And at the time, I felt like I was doing the most. And that's kind of the regret I want to talk about, where it's the effort you have. Like I think you can always do more. And if you truly care about something, you will do more. Because if you don't, years down the line, you'll look back and have regret that you didn't go all in on something. And I'm relating this to things going on in my life now with running, for instance. Like I've been dealing with some injuries, but it's like I haven't done the recovery stretches, the recovery maintenance that I need to do. And it's hurting my performance. So if I'm playing the forever infinite game of running, of constantly trying to improve, I don't want another year to go by where I don't see dramatic improvement. And what I mean by that is I need to essentially go all in. And when I say I'm going to do something, I need to do it. And I'm using I a lot here because I just think it's easier to talk that way. But I think a big point of regret is not following through with what you say you ultimately will do. So for me, it's getting up early. I believe that if I need to find hours in my day, it has to come in the morning, which means I wake up earlier, work out, and start my day with a win. On days when I don't do that, I start behind and I have to play catch up. I've never done that in the morning and then regretted waking up early. I just talked about this with my friend yesterday, where I always feel good after getting up early. So the point of not doing it doesn't make sense. It's just making the weak and easy, comfortable choice in that moment. Going forward, I don't want to have these moments of daily regret, because the daily regret will lead to a life of regret. And I don't want that. I want to achieve everything I can. And in achieving everything I can, it comes from daily sacrifice. It comes from going above and beyond. And it comes from perpetuating actions that don't lead to regret of inaction. And that means you have to act. And the last piece of regret and inaction I'd like to talk about is the idea of really pursuing something where you don't have any regret. You gave it your all. And I'll just use applying for a job as an example. A lot of people just dump a resume, not even submit a cover letter, hit apply, and hope that they hear back, hope that they stand out from a pool of people in that resume pile. Now, this situation can be applied to anything, but I think it's easy to use a job application where when I'm doing things, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. And these are the habits I need to build just as a permanent status in my life with everything I do. And I say need to build because it's something I consciously am trying to work towards. But if I apply for a job, I'm trying to reach out and network with people at the company so that they can connect a face to a name. I am doing a cover letter, so I have that on top of a resume. And if it's something I really care about, then I may be doing an additional email with a presentation of my ideas for that company. Because at the end of the day, I don't want there to be any reason or any personal hindsight of, man, I could have tried harder. Because at the end of the day, the downside of me going above and beyond and trying my hardest is that maybe, I wasted some time. And I only say wasted the time because in a black and white perspective, that time could have been used for something else. In a particular case where I'm interested in this company, in that moment, I don't view it as wasted time. It's exciting and it's work that doesn't feel like work. And I'll call it infinite potential for that to be an upside of, hey, you just got a dream job because you really went above and beyond, stood out over everyone else that just dropped their resume and moved on. I think it's a no-brainer. And that mentality of doing the most on a consistent basis so that it compounds on a linear basis day by day are really ideas that I want to be better at with everything I do. And I could sit here and talk and say that, oh, I'm perfect, I do this day in, day out, but that's not true. It's what I strive for. And I know that 3 months from now I'll be better than I was today. So yeah, just talking about regret, it's just, I view regret as something that just comes from ultimately inaction. And I don't want to have that when I'm looking back on my life. I want to act. I want to continue to stack success. And I want to pursue and improve at the things I want to do in life. And that comes from acting. That's the video. Don't live in regret. Act. Don't be afraid to act. Just do it.